Hello and welcome back to the Entrepreneur's Anchor. I'm Naveen Kumar Selvaraj, and today we're going to talk about one of the most counterintuitive yet powerful tools an entrepreneur can possess. That's the pause. We live in a world that praises constant motion, a culture that rewards the perpetually busy. We're told that to be successful, you must be always on, always hustling, always responding. But what if that constant frenetic energy is actually a roadblock to your success? What if the most productive thing you can do for your business is basically just to stop, to pause rather? Now, this episode is about the power of the pause, finding clarity in the noise. Now, a pause, mind you, is not a sign of weakness or laziness. It's a profound act of leadership and self mastery. It's the space between two breaths, the moment of quiet before a big decision, the short period of stillness in the midst of a storm. It is within this pause that we move from reaction to conscious action, from noise to clarity, from frantic motion to purposeful movement. The entrepreneurial journey is a noisy one. It's filled with notifications, emails, social media feeds, urgent demands from clients, and a constant stream of new ideas. This noise can be incredibly seductive. It feels like you're making progress, like you're in the game, but this is an illusion. The greatest clarity and the most innovative ideas rarely come from the noise. They rather emerge from the silence that follows it. Now, in the film The Devil's Advocate, Al Pacino's character delivers this powerful line which I love. Under pressure, we have two choices, either to buckle or focus. I let that sit with you for a moment. Because this simple truth is the central challenge for every entrepreneur. The noise of constant action and the feeling of being overwhelmed can lead us to buckle, which is basically to react without thinking or to make decisions from a place of fear. But what if we could intentionally choose to focus instead? This raises a profound spiritual question. Do we have the ability to summon our talents at will, regardless of the situation? I believe the answer is yes, and the key is the pause. The noise of constant action often masks a deeper fear, which is the fear of stillness, the fear of what we might find when we stop. We use business as a shield. Let me repeat that. We use busyness as a shield, a way to avoid confronting difficult questions about our business, our purpose, or our own leadership. A perfect example of this in our modern world is our aversion to boredom. The moment we have a spare 60 seconds, let's say waiting for a coffee, riding in an elevator, or commuting on the train, our instinct is to pull out our phones and start doom scrolling through social media reels. We do anything to avoid the discomfort of being alone with our thoughts. But I challenge you to try embracing that boredom. I'm able to happily preach this now because I've practiced and I'm loving it. The next time you have a few minutes, resist the urge to scroll. The first few minutes will be difficult, in fact, almost agitating. Your brain, accustomed to constant stimulation, will crave the distraction. But if you push through, something remarkable happens. After the first few minutes, the next few minutes brings a sense of realization. You'll start to notice things you have ignored for years. The intricate patterns on the ceiling of the train you have taken for the past 6 months, the sound of the wind when you're walking, the feeling of your own breath. So many examples I can give. But all that leads to one fundamental point. You become present. You start being in the present. And the few minutes after that, that is when you find absolute bliss. Your mind, now free from the noise, will start to work its magic, connecting ideas, solving problems, and generating the very creative, inputs that you have been chasing. That is the power of the pause in action. A spiritually grounded entrepreneur understands that the pause is not a luxury, It is a necessity. It's a moment to connect with your intuition, your inner compass, your anchor. The best decisions I have made in my career were not made in the heat of the moment, but rather after I had given myself space to be still. I have learned to build these pauses into my day, into my week, and my year. This could be a 5-minute meditation before a crucial meeting, a walk in nature to clear my head, or simply a day of reflection at the end of a long project. These aren't just breaks, they are acts of strategic and spiritual importance. Now, let's come to the practical application. How do we integrate this pause into our business life without falling behind? Again, it's not about stopping everything, mind you. It's about creating space in the middle of everything. So, here are a few practical steps I would recommend or suggest that you can take. First, schedule white space on your calendar. These are short, non negotiable blocks of time, even just 15 minutes, where you do nothing but think or reflect. Treat these as appointments with the same importance as a meeting with a key client. Second, practice the 2 breath rule before you hit send on an email or make a call. Take 2 deep, intentional breaths. This small physical pause gives your brain a chance to catch up with your emotions, allowing for a more measured and thoughtful response. I, in fact, use this time to make a quick prayer. Yeah, before I send that mail, the proposal, I take 2 deep breaths and then send it out. Third, create a physical or a mental doorway between your different work tasks. After you finish your project or finish a certain assignment, take a moment to stand up, stretch, and walk away from your desk before you begin the next one. This small ritual acts like a, how to say, like a reset button, helping you to be fully present for the next task. Fourth, establish a digital Sabbath, a period of time each week where you completely disconnect from your devices. This practice helps to reset your nervous system and reclaims your attention from the constant demands of the digital world. This pause is an act of creation. It's where you process information, synthesize ideas, and reconnect with your purpose. It's not a break from your work, it's actually the work itself. By mastering this pause, you will become a more intentional, more effective, and more grounded leader. You will move from being a manager of noise to a conductor of clarity, my friends. Yes. So, as always, thank you so much for joining me on this journey. That's all I have for this week. But remember, before I leave, the busiest entrepreneurs are not always the most successful. The most successful are often the ones who have mastered the power of this pause, factored into their daily lives. Please subscribe and share this podcast with a fellow entrepreneur who feels overwhelmed by the noise. Next week, we'll explore the compass of integrity, aligning values with action. Until then, stay grounded, keep building with purpose, and remember, your spirituality is your greatest asset. See you next time.